when no is an act of love. Boundaries are not like walls, but are the truest form of honesty. Good morning. I want to begin with a word that many of us find surprisingly hard to say. No. Such a small word. 2 letters, 1 syllable. And yet for many of us, perhaps most of us, it carries enormous weight. The weight of guilt, of fear, of the worry that saying it will cost us something we can't afford to lose: approval, connection, or someone's love. We have been taught, in countless quiet ways, that no is a hostile word, a selfish word, and a word that closes doors and pushes people away. Today, I want to offer a different way to see it. What if no said with care, said with honesty, said at the right moment is not a withdrawal of love, but an expression of it? What if the boundary is not the wall between you and someone else, but the very thing that makes genuine closeness possible? Why saying yes when we mean no costs so much? Most of us have a long history with the "yes, we didn't mean" phrase. We said yes to protect the other person's feelings, yes to avoid conflict, yes because we didn't know how to say no without it becoming an argument, a silence, or a wound. Yes, because somewhere along the way we learned that keeping the peace mattered more than keeping our word to ourselves. And in the short term, the "yes, we didn't mean it" works. The moment passes. The conflict doesn't happen. The other person seems satisfied. We absorb the small cost and move on. But these costs accumulate, not just inside us in the resentment that builds quietly like sediment, but also inside the relationship itself. Every "yes, we don't mean" is a small act of concealment. It hides what we actually feel, what we actually need, and what is true for us. And relationships cannot deepen through concealment. They can only deepen through truth. The person on the other side of your performance does not get to know you. They get to know a version of you that is managed, curated, and shaped to fit what you believe they want. That version may be easier to be around, but it is not you. And a relationship built around a version of you that isn't real is, at some level, built on air. There is also this. When we say yes to things we cannot genuinely give, we often give them half-heartedly, with one eye on the resentment we're carrying. The yes becomes a gift wrapped in invisible strings, and people feel those strings, even when they can't name them. Where in my life have I been saying yes while meaning no, and what has that been costing the other person and me? What boundaries actually are? The word boundary has been used so often in recent years that it has almost lost its meaning. For some people, it has come to suggest rigidity, an emotional fortress, a refusal to be moved or affected by others. But that is not what a boundary is, not a real one. A real boundary is simply a statement of truth. It says, "This is where I am. This is what I can honestly give. This is what I need to remain whole and present in this relationship." It is not a rejection of the other person, it is an honest account of yourself. And honesty, offered with care, is one of the deepest acts of respect in any relationship. Think about what it means to be with someone who always tells you the truth about themselves. Someone who says, clearly and without drama, "I can't do that tonight. I need to rest." Or, "That comment hurt me, and I'd like to talk about it." Or, "I love you, and right now I don't have more to give than this." There is a sense of relief in that, a safety. When someone is honest with you about their limits, you know that when they say yes, they mean it. When they show up, they choose to. When they tell you they're fine, you can believe them. Boundaries, far from creating distance, are what make trust possible. They are the structural honesty that allows two people to be close without one slowly disappearing into the shape of what the other needs. And here is the thing about saying no to someone you love. It communicates what a "yes, you didn't mean it" never could. It says, "I respect this relationship enough to be honest with you. I trust you enough to tell the truth. I believe we are strong enough to hold something real between us." Is there something I have been unable to say to someone I love not because it would harm them, but because I feared how they might receive it? Learning to say no with love. Saying no with love is a skill. Like most skills, it is learned often imperfectly and over time, and it gets easier the more you practice. A few things make it easier to get started. The first is remembering that no is a complete sentence. It does not require an elaborate justification or a lengthy apology. When we over-explain our no, burying it under reasons, caveats, and reassurances, we signal that we don't quite believe we have a right to it. A clear, kind no, offered without excessive qualification, is more respectful to both parties than a hedged, apologetic one. The second is to separate the no from rejection. You can decline a request without rejecting a person. You can say, "I can't be there for that, and I love you. I'm not able to take that on right now, and you matter to me." The boundary is about the situation, capacity, and the moment, not about the worth of the person asking. When we say this clearly, when we hold both the limit and the love at once, it changes the texture of the no entirely. The third is tolerating the discomfort of the other person's reaction. Sometimes, when we say no to someone unused to hearing it from us, they are surprised, hurt even. And our instinct, shaped by years of yes-keeping, is to retreat immediately, softening it into a maybe, a probably, or an okay if you really need me to. But that instinct, followed every time, keeps us trapped. The discomfort of someone receiving our honest no is real, and it is theirs to feel. We can hold it with compassion. We do not have to resolve it by undoing ourselves. The people who love you well will, in time, appreciate your honesty. They may not enjoy this particular one, but they will know, because you have told them, and because it is visible in the quality of your yes, that when you are present, you are truly present. That is when you give freely. So they receive not a performance from you, but the real thing. What is one no I have been carrying around, unsaid, and what would it feel like to say it, kindly and clearly, finally, carrying this into your day? Love is not an open tap with no off switch. It is not a promise to give everything to everyone, always, at any cost to yourself. Real love, the sustainable kind, the kind that lasts, deepens, and endures through difficulty, requires honesty. About what you can give, about what you need, about where you end, and another person begins. The boundary is not the opposite of love. It is love made honest. It is care made real. It is the difference between a relationship in which you are fully present and one in which you are slowly, quietly disappearing. Today, if there is a no somewhere inside you that needs to be spoken, I hope you find the courage to say it, gently, clearly, without excessive apology. Not because the relationship can't handle the truth, but because it deserves it. Morning affirmation. My no is not a failure of love. It is love made honest. When I speak my truth with care, I create space for something real. Today's intention. Today, notice when you are about to say yes, but mean no. You don't have to change your answer. Today, simply noticing is enough to begin with. But if you find a moment when a kind, honest no is possible, try saying it, simply, without over-explaining, and see what the relationship can hold.